Hola. If you're talking, Trisha, I can't hear you. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Yeah.
Is that working?
Yep.
Oh, of course, when I say motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
It asked me to put my Zoom code in for my Zoom. And I was like, I don't know what my code, my password for my account is. So I'm just guessing.
Oh.
It worked.
Yay.
I was just looking at your post. You said guys in the comments.
Yeah.
Is this something you did already?
In the read the comments.
Okay.
There she is. Hey, Seb.
Hello.
There we go.
There they are.
Hello.
Ooh, November 16th?
Yeah. You should change your settings, Seb, for the one room.
Yeah.
Did you know you can do that for individual rooms?
No, I did not.
Join before host. That's all you need. And no waiting room.
I'll check that out because in the past, what it's done is it creates a new room when I do that.
Yeah.
But I will check it. Because, yeah, that would be annoying. Or that is annoying. Has been annoying. So I think you were talking about Chris Frolick's...
Yeah, Trish was just reading the post in the main group about his thing that he's doing on whenever the heck that is, November sometime.
Oh, okay, I'll look at it later. Sorry, I'm highly distracted today.
Are you doing okay, Trish?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just like those days where you're just like really 800 tabs open. And
I think that's my everyday. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Good. If I can get my freaking resume done, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Oh. What are you doing a resume for?
I'm going to apply for positions, coaching and facilitation within companies to support me while I figure out what I'm going to do with the, while I grow my coaching practice and while I, what's the word? Yeah, pretty much grow my practice. Like I said, my biggest client kind of folded recently, so I have to figure that one out. And my wife, I can keep coaching as long as I bring in money, and rather than try and make my business something that it's not, I'm going to, or something that's not ready to do, support us.
Oh gosh, I get that. I totally get that, Seb.
Yeah, because I booked so many calls, or at least I felt what I would say fully booked last week with calls, and some of them went great, but it's when you really want it, it's really hard to see, how can I put this? When you have an expectation or an attachment to it, it's really hard to accept or make the difference between someone being like, I'm complete. Oh, great. Do you still want to see what it's like to work together? Or, you know what I mean? It's, and whereas every example that I've had of powerful proposals is something along the lines of, you're just quiet and they go like the people have signed with me has been like, so what would it look like to work together? They asked me, so yeah, it's creating the circumstances to let that happen and not have to worry about, my wife worrying.
Yeah. I know that's not where ideal place you wanted to be, but it sounds like a good middle ground.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it in the sense of, or the way I've framed it for myself is, I'm going to be in my zone of genius regardless. That's where I want to play. If I can make more money than I ever made doing the parts of my jobs, the parts of the job that I used to love or that I used to have, and less of the other stuff, that would actually leave me a lot of energy to, if not more time, to actually either make more money and have a run at it once I have a waiting list of clients, or at the very least have the energy to keep coaching, even though I'm doing some really powerful work for a company instead of just for my clients.
Mhm.
I think organizational coaching sounds exciting. Working for helping an organization further its mission if you align with the company and what it stands for. I think that's very powerful. I don't think there's any shame in that or
Yeah.
anything like wrong with it. My mentor actually is being trained. His company is MSC, and it's like this metal manufacturing company. And they are, the reason he is going through the ICF training is because they want leaders in the company to be life coach certified and trained
Hmm.
so they can have more effective leadership in the organization. So if you want me to, I'd be happy to talk to him. I've been wanting to talk to him about it anyway, like get a little bit more perspective on how did that start? How did that initiate? How is that benefiting the organization? And I think that may be helpful information to kind of arm you with like some insight that you may not have not being in an organization already.
Yep.
Like if you're coming into an organization from the outside, what perspective, it may be helpful to have that insider perspective to see, how you can formulate your message to a potential employer.
I would love that, especially given I'm not certified. I'd have to sort of give them a taste of what it is, or have a very firm, very clear message, like you said, of what's going on, or saying like, hey, look, if we like each other and you're on board, I'll work towards getting certification while we're working together. If if you feel like that gets us on track.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like a weaker offering to me in a way.
I think there is something to be said about like you've done the Exponential Coaching Mastermind or Mastery course. You've completed it. You've done coaching one-on-one. You've done group coaching. I mean, what we have been doing, I know we've dropped off, but even regardless, what we've done, meeting week to week, coaching each other, and then watching and observing coaching would have counted towards ICF hours. That would count towards experience. And so I just encourage you to not neglect the experience you do have. Right? Make sure you bulk it up and share it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm sure I have over 100 hours of coaching with people, and it's like, and the other part too, right? Which is like facilitation. Like, what I love is when we're having a discussion and like a whole bunch of people have different points of view and they're all from different departments, and it's like, if I was the guy who loved to be in meetings, because they would last a little longer with me, but damn it, we would all end up with like a same view of what we were working on, and we were all speaking the same language, and then we could actually head somewhere instead of like try to get out as quickly as possible and then no one knew where they were going. So that between the two of them, I feel like that's a really strong skill set to bring to it. Plus I'm obsessed with leadership, and when people do things properly in a company, right, it can make it like good leaders just make a huge difference in the company. So it's just showing up, selling, finding someone who knows someone who can set me up. I'm thinking like Montreal is a big startup town, so I know Sanjay found someone around him to work. Actually, I should ask him how that went. But yeah, like who wants to start like on the ground floor, starting a culture of leadership from the beginning? That sounds exciting to me.
I think that's really exciting, especially from the ground up to start that way. Oh,
Yeah. It's just this thing like, look, if I have the security to be able to focus on it properly, let's open up a playground together and figure out how we're going to build this. Because
yeah.
I work best when it's not like, I'm not going to come at you with like PDFs of how leadership works and then we're going to hand that out to everyone, and like, no, that's not how that's going to work. We might come up with documentation for it, but it's not, I mean, that's not really what I'm interested in anyway. We'll see. It depends. I think it just takes the right person and the right chemistry more than anything.
Yeah. Well, keep us posted.
I will. Thank you. How about you guys? Monica, I haven't seen you in a while. What are you up to?
Yeah, 10 o'clock my time, usually at 10 o'clock in the evening here, my time. On Fridays is usually when I have to go and pick up my daughter at the station. So that's why I haven't been able to join you. So, but switch her time, and she happened to come home one day early this week. She's studying away, so that's why I have to go and pick her up every Friday.
It's cool she can come back though.
Pardon?
It's cool that she can come back home for the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. She's on the other side of Switzerland, so during the week, and she doesn't come home every single weekend, but most of them, yes. That's cool. So yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I'm trying to put myself together again and get into the coaching. I have been procrastinating a lot, I'm sorry to say. After the summer was hard. It was really a lot to do here. So when I got to mid-September, I trashed my website and redid it, and after that I just haven't done much. So yeah, I need to get back into focus now.
I hear you. What do you feel you need to do?
Talk to people.
Yeah.
Have you figured out? Have you figured out what the sale is?
What the sale is? What do you mean?
For your boat, the sale.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's been on my mind ever since, and it was so spot on. So yeah, the sale is almost there. That was really a really great thing. I mean, it really made me understand how I make things complicated for myself and how I just row on my own sea and try to figure everything out myself. And
So what is this? What is the sale? Like, have you figured that out yet, or are you still trying to sort that out?
Well, no. Well, I just have to sit with it and I really understand why I'm not doing it. I tend to not think it through, so I tend to just work, and every time something feels a bit icky, I will just go and do something else just to avoid it. So I've decided, when was it, 2 or 3 days ago, that I'm going to set a timer and just sit with the feeling for 15 minutes, even though it's yucky, and really understand, sort of feel the thing that I'm not, for example, talking to people about this, why I'm not sharing this, because I know that there are so many people that are trying to make money in the stock market that are not able to do that because of emotional things that hold them back around money and about trading, and I know how it hurts, and I know a solution to it that really can help them. So I'm not going to teach people how to trade, but how to really get this emotional resiliency when it comes to money and trading. And
so is it going to be taking a break from rowing?
Yeah,
and actually looking at the sale?
Break from rowing, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to check on that.
Yeah, not rowing. No, I'm just gonna sit still for a while and wait for the wind to blow. So, yeah.
I don't know if Seb and Trish, they weren't
Oh, sorry.
apart. And then I don't know if we upload the video for the group to see. Paula did a metaphor exercise with Monica, and it was very powerful. So that's what they're referring to. Yeah.
Yeah. Just adding that piece kind of think, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can see
Yeah,
that.
sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry.
forgot.
Oh, I mean-
I was totally into it myself. Yeah,
I
no,
was like, oh, she's talking about an offer. What's Monica's offer? Oh, the sail on the sailboat.
Yeah, the sail on the sailboat. Yeah. I just realized that now. I'm like, oh, wait, there's more than one sail. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Words mean things.
Yeah.
basically the metaphor was that I feel that the coaching thing, or mostly anything that I do, is being out in the middle of an ocean without in a small rowboat, without just without oars, without no sail, and trying to get to land, my goal, which I can't see, far away, and just rowing and have all the
But you have a mast. You just don't
so I
have the
have a
sail. You
mast,
don't have the
yes, I
sail
have
up.
a mast. The sail, I just need to get that up
And
so that I can breeze over to my goal easily.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Such a great
that
metaphor.
was really,
Such a
thank
great
you.
metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really cool to think that, again, right? The insight is in you. It's just setting things up so that you can see exactly what the problem is.
Yeah, and when you're sort of in it yourself, you don't really realize what your problem is until you can see it from the outside. And through a metaphor like that, I really managed to clearly understand that, I mean, I'm making things far too difficult for myself. And things could be easy, right? Should be easy.
Yeah, and if you, maybe this was why I joined. I was talking to someone from the intensive because they'd heard that they'd facilitated conversation, and I wanted to talk about that and whatnot. And what I got away with, or what I came away with, was how she ended up with a waiting list for her coaching business. And she said she just followed Rich Litvin's one of the first or second posts that he did in the Serve Lead Serve group, which was send a video out saying to all the people saying, hey, COVID times are hard. I'm just reaching out if you need support. If not, that's great. If so, let's just have a 15-minute chat and see how I can support you. And sending it to everyone that in their network. And then you have a conversation, try to leave them with something like one action or whatnot. And you kind of end up doing the 2.0, right? The Prosperous Coach 2.0 method, which is you kind of have a pre-conversation, see if they know how to take action, get an insight and take action. Then you just follow up with them and say, hey, do you want to have another deeper coaching conversation, or are you good? And if they'd say yes, right, great, let's have a deeper conversation. And then you can feel comfortable about, depending on how the conversation goes, making an offer, because you've served them without any expectations. You invited them to another conversation. You've served them again, and now they'll know if they want to work with you or not, right? So I don't know.
Have you done that?
I literally had the conversation an hour before this call. So I'm like,
why haven't you done it yet? I'm just kidding.
That's the thing is, I have to, because of the agreement with my wife, I have to write my resume and start applying for jobs. But I'm going to try and fill up my week with conversations as well. Just because also networking just leads, especially networking with the right people. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's funny, but it always kind of, every once in a while, it drops something that I'm missing. So how does that sound like to you, Monica?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really, yeah.
Nicolette, are you okay? Sorry. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to add something.
Oh, were you raising your hand? Is that what you were doing? Just talk, girl.
Yeah, just jump in.
I'm so dopey sleepy right now. I was up till 2:30 watching this thing that I'm about to tell you about. And then I had to wake up early, and I've been like going all morning. So I'm like, also, I just had a big pastry, which was dumb. So I'm just like so dopey right now. But so two things. One, I'm hosting a mastermind for entrepreneurs that I know I've told y'all about. I know I've told y'all that I would invite you, and I never have. And I'm sure you guys all have enough on your plates. But what I love about this particular group is we came together through, have y'all heard of masterclass.com?
Yeah. Isn't
Okay.
that the thing you keep seeing the ads for, like the really high visibility people, like Aaron Sorkin shows you how to write a drama?
Yes.
Yes.
It is phenomenal. And I highly recommend getting a year-long membership to the whole thing.
What's what,
Really,
$200?
really, 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 really good.
How much is it?
I paid $180 for 2 memberships, like buy one, get one free. And I gave one away to one of the girls that I met at that woman's retreat at the beginning of the year, because she was a poet, and we were talking about how she could grow her poetry business. And there's a lot of poets on Masterclass. And so I was like, check this out, use this, like get some inspiration. So it's very, what I love about Masterclass is it's a lot of the information I already know. Right. There's a lot of information I already know, but what I love about it is it constantly reconfirms to me, like what Monica was saying. Sometimes I overcomplicate things, or I think like, maybe there's more to know, but it seems like I've taken writing classes, I've taken entrepreneurship classes, I've taken sales classes, I've taken all sorts of different classes. I just got through going through St. Vincent, who I didn't even know who she was, but she's this musician. And she had this class about writing music, and it's the same information. It's all the same, y'all. It's like, we all have fear. We all have to overcome our fear. We all have to follow our hearts, and we have to get ourselves out there. And we just have to keep creating and be okay with creating and be okay with the journey and just do it. Like, this is the resounding theme. It doesn't matter if it's a writer telling the story, if it's an entrepreneur, if it's a big CEO, if it's a big artist, they all say the same thing. It's really like, it's been blowing my mind, because these are the people that you really hold on a high pedestal, but it's like the same message, just different angles, different perspectives, different stories. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Well, so this mastermind group that I'm hosting, we had been invited by Masterclass itself to have this like meetup for the Sarah Blakely Masterclass. And so I had done Sarah Blakely. She was the very first class I went through all the way, and it was on entrepreneurship. And so we had, there were hundreds of people who showed up for this masterclass. We did networking. It was cool. We did breakout rooms. And afterwards, a girl reached out to me and asked if I would co-host with her a mastermind. And so we started it, and it was great. And now it's just me leading. The other girl, she just isn't, her heart's not in it right now. But anyway, one of the guys that's a part of it, he is a, oh my gosh, what's it called? You count pills. Pharmacist. He's a pharmacist. But he was talking about how difficult it is to be a pharmacist. Like, you wouldn't think that it's hard to be a pharmacist, but he's talking about how it's just such a saturated market, and these companies don't really appreciate pharmacy anymore. It's just like a grunt job now. And so he wants to be a coach. And so he's been pursuing his ICF certification. He's trying to get coaching clients. And he was talking about how he's just been posting on LinkedIn. That's the only place that he's on, the only social platform he's on. And he just had this girl reach out to him after months and months and months of posting and sharing and posting and sharing. She reached out to him, and she was like, I really would like to talk to you. And now it's a client. He just got this client, a coldly, he doesn't know who she is, but she knew who he was. And he's like, how can I get more of that? How can I have more people doing that to me? And I was like, well, just keep doing what you're doing, right? You just got to keep building and learning and growing. I mean, it's just what everyone else has to do. Well, speaking of masterclass, so that was a conversation. We had a group, we had a meetup last night. It was really nice. And then as I was waiting for my slowpoke of a child to finish his chores last night, I decided to check my email, and I see this new masterclass. So I go to masterclass because I love masterclass. And there's a guy named Daniel Pink. Have y'all ever heard of Daniel Pink?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To
So
sell is human?
Yeah. So Daniel Pink has a new masterclass, and I stayed up till 2:30 listening to him. I took all these notes. I mean, this is it goes on forever. It feels like.
Is that a remarkable?
No, we were going to get one, but then I got the iPad instead.
Okay.
Because it can do everything plus more. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
But the class was really great, and I wanted to share this with y'all because I have to hop off. But in lieu of what you're talking about with having to start applying at jobs, and additionally with the idea of Monica and all of us, we're all human here, right? We all have that as something that I think we're pretty common in, right? So humans, we are sensitive to rejection. We don't like to be rejected. Rejection sucks. It hurts. It's painful. Well, this was something that Daniel Pink shared, and I wanted to share it with y'all before I hop off. I think it's really excellent. And it's one of those things, like Monica was saying, you have to be intentional with sitting with yourself, right? Like we all need to be intentional with being with ourselves and being introspective and asking ourselves the tough questions that we normally just avoid. But Daniel Pink shared 3 Ps, the 3 Ps to help us overcome the perceived rejection we may experience. So would y'all like to hear them?
Sure.
Okay. So we take, there's two ways to look at these 3 Ps. We take rejection, or what we think is rejection. We take it personally, as in we think it's all about us. There's something wrong with us. We suck, we smell, we whatever, right? There's something wrong with us. We think it's pervasive, as in if it happens once, it's going to happen again and again and again and again and again. And we don't want to deal with it. It hurts. It's like a boo-boo. We don't want boo-boos, right? And then it's permanent. Oh, well, that person didn't want me, so I guess I'm just going to stop trying because it'll never happen, right? It's never going to happen for me. To combat those 3 Ps, you ask yourself questions, right? So when we make things personal, we have to ask the question, well, is it really personal? And how can we be sure? Just spending that time, that extra intentional time to say, how can we be sure it's really, truly personal? Something so simple like that, I don't do enough. I'd rather just, it's for some reason, I'd rather just sit in that icky feeling oh, I suck, instead of wondering well, is it really true that I suck? Is it really true that it's about me? Yeah. Then about pervasive, oh, this always happens. I'm always rejected. Is that true? Is that true? Does this really always happen? Are we really always rejected? Right? Have you never had success at all in this way? Right? And then permanent, thinking, oh, everything's ruined. Nothing can be successful. I can never do this. I'm just going to give up. Instead of that, ask, is this really going to ruin me? Does this really have the potential to end my dreams? So that's it. That's all I have for you. But I thought it was really great. And just another one more reminder that it's so good to just sit with yourself, right?
Mhm.
So good to just sit with yourself. So anyway, I got to hop off. I love all of you. I hope that was helpful.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it is
Great.
very cool.
It was. Thank you, Nicolette.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, let
That
me
was
just
cool.
change the view. Yeah, well, I like it because it I didn't want to interrupt, but I love how it can dovetail into the positive intelligence, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah.
I figured. Yeah, Monica, just I don't think you took the positive intelligence thing, but basically the idea is like every one of the tenets is that every bad situation also can be a gift, and you can, if you work hard enough to find the gift in that situation, that's another way of sort of, especially the permanent one, it's to say like, oh no, this serves me how. Like one of the things that got me to act and start to try and see how I can apply to coaches to coach in the midst of a company for a salary, let's say, was the fear that, oh, what if I'm not, what if they want someone certified? Well, I'm not certified. Well, then at the very least, if I take action, the gift in it is that I'll find out what they're actually wanting. So that's actually good for me, even though it hurts in the moment to say, I'm not what they want now, but if I had this and this, they might actually want me, or it might actually better fit, I should say. So it's the idea of finding the gift in the situation. That's what we were referring to. At least, am I?
and asking first, you will get, well, will help you choose the right certification as well. I mean, would it too bad to get certified in something that would not even be the right thing, right? So
Yeah.
asking first.
Yeah, because just yesterday, nope, the day before, I saw someone share like Amanda Palmer. She's a singer and performer. She wrote a book called How to Ask, or do you guys know what the name of the book is? It's about learning to ask for what you want. I forget the title. In it, one of the things that she says, and one of the things that the person quoted from the book was, the professionals know that you're making it up as you go along. The amateurs are the one who think that they need to show that they know everything and that they all have it nailed down and they've got it. And that, I cannot tell you how, like, especially in terms of like with my paying client, how that resonates as true. Like every time I thought that I had to show up and like, oh no, I got to tell her that this is all planned, or I got to show up, like every time I let go of that and just winged it, it was so much more powerful and so much more interesting. So I bring that up because that's where I play the best, and I worry about, certification, like the companies wanting like, all right, show me exactly how you going to plan to help my employees. Like, tell me what the journey they're going to go on. And it's just like, I don't know. It really depends on who they are and what they want. It's like, so that's a little concerning. But the idea that we're all making it up as we go along is, it's like, wow, perfect. That sounds great. It's scary, but it does sound great. Actually, how do you guys see it?
That's a hard
Yeah,
question.
well, me, I know that I need to talk to people in order to know what they really want and how, because, and you gain confidence by talking, and you gain direction by talking.
Yeah.
By sitting still and not talking to anybody, it's just, you're in your own world, and I'm in my own world. I'm not going to talk about you guys. I'm in my own world and just guessing what people would like, and it's not, it doesn't serve anyone.
Yeah, that's a great insight. It's so easy though to think that we know what people are thinking. Well, because we know what we're thinking, right?
Obvious, right?
Yeah. Well, no, this feels like a distraction. Yeah, what do you guys? does anyone have like a contrasting point of view about winging it versus knowing what you're doing versus frameworks and that sort of thing?
I think it's always more about balance. I think that it's much easier to go into frameworks and not go with because there's more control there. And the freedom to kind of jump out there into the space of winging it. I think that's where a lot of innovation happens. I think that's where a lot of creativity happens, but it can be a scary place to be. So you don't really have an alternate view.
I like the way you put it, though. Like, it gives you a feeling of control, right? Control, certainty. Is comforting a good word too? Like, it's like, oh yeah, I know where I'm going with that. And I don't know about you guys. I was talking about that to my wife yesterday. It's like, if you ask me how I'm going to coach someone, or how would I coach an executive, or like, how would you coach a CEO? And I was like, and then I start thinking about the whole thing and what is coaching really, and how do you, and I start like, but here's the thing. It's like, I have coached VPs. I have coached directors. I've coached a CEO. Well, they weren't a CEO at the time, but you know what I mean? So it's like, they were people, and I just showed up and I knew what to do in the moment. It's like asking a centipede, like, how do you walk? Like, if you think about it for a second, it'll fall all over its face. But if you just show up and just do what you know what to do, it's so much more powerful. Yeah.
Have you read Shirzad's book?
No, actually, I have not.
I would not to beat a dead horse, like on the
Shirzad. I know that you. Right, I want to read it because you talked about the interesting parts of it.
It's just interesting. Because he coaches CEOs.
Yeah,
that's his thing. Or at least it was at the time he was writing the book. I think you'd find it affirming.
Okay.
And maybe it's just the mindset I was in when I was listening to it, and maybe be open to the mindset of the more I keep saying organic, but I don't know if that's the word. Less
intuitive.
Huh?
Intuitive.
Yeah, that's a great word, Paula. Intuitive, more intuitive.
What was it? Positive intelligence. Okay. I think it's available on Scribd. If not, that's fine. I'll buy it.
Didn't we get it in the?
We got the first 8 chapters.
Yeah, I suppose you could start with that.
Yeah, sorry, because I think it's the last part that would actually be good for you.
So you bought it finally? Like, you got the thing and then you bought the book?
I bought it originally because I could never find the link, and I wanted to listen to it anyway, so I bought it on Audible.
Oh, okay. You listened to it? Yeah. So I'm unclear on how you think it will serve me. Do you mean in the sense of like finding a clear, just understanding the levers and just having a clear way of presenting what I do to people? Or is that?
It came to me because I feel like, just in respect to structure versus not, more intuitive, you would hear somebody else's story and how they coach in an intuitive way. And I think he has his structures of the judge and all that, but it's like, I consider that more content versus framework for coaching.
Yeah. And you know what? The funny thing is, the example, because I imagine that if he showed up, he would have like maybe a PDF or that like some documentation that he sent to like those people. Like, again, I don't know, maybe it's in the book and you actually know and you can tell me I'm wrong, but I imagine that he'd have documentation, maybe like an overview, and like, this is what we're going to be talking about, the saboteurs, this, that, step, and
No, I don't recall it being like that because he
No?
wrote the book before he had the course.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
And what's sticking out for me is like he ended up coaching a CEO and his wife because it was really more about relationships than anything and hearing people out. So again, it might have just been the lens that I was listening to it in because I don't have the CEO, I don't have the business background. It's all life coaching. But no, I found it interesting because, you know, he has these vignettes of different examples of people he's coached at the CEO level.
Yes. And I will say, when I coach people, it's hard for me to accept it. Like my mind still fights it, but it's that I don't need to be a CEO. Right. And I think that's what you're getting at as well. And it's like, my mind fights it. It's like, that's one of the things that I'm kind of secretly happy that I might have to go back to work. It's like, oh, well, why don't I just go and do what I say that I do? Maybe get a little bit more success, and that'll justify whatever it is that I want to do.
Which saboteur is that?
I have no idea.
If you had to guess.
If I had to guess, could definitely be avoider. But hang on to the question. I'll finish my thought, but that's a really good question. And at the same time, I realized that when I showed up, like this morning, I had a really, I would say, really powerful conversation with my client. And I've realized that I've got a compass now, and it is what makes me uncomfortable I have to go towards. Like, I think I've said this before, but now it's like official. Like, I get it. Whenever I get away from that and start getting really like, oh, I'll go with the flow, just make myself as uncomfortable as possible, because that's where the juice is. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, which actually makes a much better conversation. That said,
hang on, you're avoiding the discomfort?
No,
Sorry.
I'm chasing it. I would avoid the discomfort. The social Seb would say, like, let's keep this cerebral, or let's solve the problem, and we won't have to make her feel bad for stewing in her problem, or let's like why do you think you have trouble with this person, or how afraid are you that this person will leave you if you don't treat them this way, or you know what I mean? Like, I've had this fear, like when you push someone's bruise, you are hurting them, or you're making them uncomfortable.
So in the context of coaching is what you're got. Okay.
And so I've learned that, that's where I have to go, because at the very least they can say, ow, don't stop pushing there. But so often it's like a water balloon bursting. It's like, oh, I'm just so glad that you asked me about that, because and we would have totally avoided that if I was trying to be, nice, or trying to avoid my discomfort in quote unquote, in my belief, whatever, that I'm hurting them. So I actually have a very, very good tool to intuit and to bring that back to what you were saying. So why do I, am I avoiding something by, nope, damn it, I feel like I'm juggling and the balls are
Okay.
hitting me.
What are you avoiding by going back to school, for lack of a better word?
Yeah.
Getting more training and.
What am I avoiding? Here's the thing. I'm not actively interested in going back to work. If I'm actively searching for a job now, it's because my wife has asked me. That's the primary thing. Like she says, we need a stable revenue. Yeah, if you can get some sort of short-term thing, that'd be great. But we need, but by extension, she needs stable revenue, because it's a really uncomfortable journey for her, not knowing where I'm going and what I'm doing for this.
Mhm.
That's the main reason. Why? Yeah, so that would be avoiding, maybe that could be the avoider, trying to have a powerful conversation with my wife to get her to trust me. Get her, as if you can do that, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Find show up in a way that helps her trust me for what I'm doing. Right? You could make a case that no, I need to show up in this way. This, I should go in this direction. I should commit.
Can I offer you something?
Sure.
What if it's not about you? I mean, you're part of it, but what if it's almost like that's the central part of her asking, like you.
You mean like what if her fear is not about me, but it's about her?
It's just that's just something she needs.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. It's like there's a part of me who would like to support / coach her through that, but that's not what she's asking for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
Yeah, I just like it's. I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. It seems as though there's this opportunity, and and there probably is an opportunity for you to continue to try to show up in a way that would make her feel comfortable. But what if it's just in her makeup that she'll never feel comfortable, that she just has to have her ducks in a row? She sounds a lot like my husband. And so I'm not coaching. I'm just offering a perspective of like, maybe that's just who she is, no matter how you show up.
That is a very good question. And I agree at a certain point. It's like, it'd be like trying to prove to her that I love her. It's really not up to me, right? It's like, so on the one hand, like confidence versus courage, right? Confidence is like, oh, I have a track record. Right now, her perception is that, and it kind of feels like that for me too. But her feeling is, this consulting client that I got in this sort of magically creative way was a fluke. And she's terrified that I'm going to be disappointed and depressed if I end up getting a job that I don't like. That causes her a lot of stress, and she doesn't see me sort of prepare for it. So she feels like, oh man, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks and you don't see it, on the one hand. So, how do I, and one of the ways that I'm showing her that I'm prepared for it is preparing my CV. I'm going to apply, and hell, I might even get a job that I love, that might support me and might help me, really sign up with like one of the bigger coaches. I'd love to take on an apprenticeship. I think I'm at that point. So yeah. Am I answering your question? Is it about me? Yeah. Ultimately, it's about her. And like, I had this discussion with my coach when her first offer was like $10,000 for 6 months, which ended up being $13,000 Canadian for me. And she was like, how can you show up for your wife as someone who she can trust that this is what you know that you need to do to invest in yourself and to grow? I was like, and that's been big in my mind, because it's not about making things happening in her mind, like you were saying, right? It's about letting her handle herself, but making sure that I'm showing up in such a way that it's like, no, I'm not faffing around. Something is going to happen, and we've got agreements around how long I can do this. Like, this was the last week I had to make money off of coaching, and so far it really hasn't. I haven't gotten another client, and I think that part of it was the stress of the situation and not knowing, like trying to make something happen that wasn't. So yeah, ultimately, I don't think it's about my wife, or at least I don't think it's about me impacting her. It's more about holding space for her while she gets upset, while she's just dealing with it. Like she is dealing with it, and she wants to support me so hard. It's beautiful to see, but it's also that she has her fears. She wants to see something. She wants some sense that normalcy is going to return.
She's
And-
kind of in that space of the framework and the evidence and the
Yeah, it's like if I talk to her about abundance, she'll freaking blow a gasket. She's like, yeah, show me abundance. Show me that it's working. And I'm like, well, that's a good point. I haven't got another client yet. But there is a certainty that it's there. It's just I don't know how to. It's not like I know how to connect the dots.
It's like proving that God exists.
Yes, exactly. That's a very good analogy. Yep.
Or doesn't.
Yeah. Sorry. Ah, man. Okay. I'll call it later.
I apologize. I have to jump off. I'm going to take advantage of the lull. But it's been great, guys. Appreciate it.
Good seeing you, Trisha.
Take care. Oh, it's already 5? Okay, well, that would explain it.
Yeah.
I got another 5 minutes. Any thoughts on what would be a nice sort of, not way to wrap it up, but yeah, what are you guys thinking right now?
What was your biggest insight?
I love Nicolette's part about like the fear of rejection. That was powerful. I loved feels like there were more, but I love the idea of approaching how is going to, like, I still am going to think about that question. How is going back to work a saboteur, right? How is wanting to go back to work a saboteur for me? Which one is showing up? I do think avoiding might be big in that one. Yeah, that it's not about my wife, or rather that it's not about me making the things happen inside my wife's head, so to speak.
Cool. I do want to offer you just a little thing that popped up into my head about the bit that you were talking about with the avoider with going back to work. Because you said when you coach somebody, you go to the place that scares you.
Mostly uncomfortable. Like I'm good with fear, but uncomfortable is even worse for me. So that's why I label it that way.
So maybe taking a look at the situation and seeing where the discomfort is and seeing if maybe there's something in there that you should be looking at.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. It's clearly like just me trying to be a peacemaker. I think that's like I want to avoid conflict and I don't want to make people feel bad. But yeah, it's definitely because I'm geared that way. Now it's like, oh, now that I harness it, it allows me to be so much more powerfully if I use that as a sort of a reverse sounding rod to. But say that again, because I don't want to miss it, or I don't want to go too fast.
When you're coaching somebody and there's discomfort with them, something that they're not comfortable looking at, you guide them to look there, because that's where the juice is. I think you said, was that your word, or the magic? That's where the magic is.
Yeah.
So where's that discomfort for you with this situation? And what do you need to uncover? And don't answer me right now. I don't want to fucking answer. This is just something for you to sit with.
Yeah, because you
we gotta go, man.
Yeah.
There might not be an answer, and that's okay.
Where's the discomfort?
What's behind the discomfort
of
the situation? Any part of it. Maybe it's something you're not even thinking about. So just sit with that. That's my challenge to you. Get back to me. Let me know.
Mhm. Yeah, where's the discomfort in this situation that I need to sit with?
And if you need a framework, just try to take yourself out of it and look at it like a meta view.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would you coach somebody in that situation? What would you say to them?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
All right.
Reframe from the outside, which is yeah.
And Monica, damn it.
Yes.
I want to know what your sale is. So let me know how that goes with sitting with it.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, yeah. Great advice to Seb. I'm gonna take it too.
So much of it is like we coach what we need to fucking learn, right? So
Yeah.
much of it.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
is. That's why I'm really grateful for it. I don't like it. Like, I don't mind saying that yesterday, the day before, I cried for a solid 15 minutes of like, damn it, this is hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, like Nicolette said, sit through it, be with it, and just, this is where I need to learn. This is how I'm going to help my clients later.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We've all got our lessons that we got to learn.
Totally.
As fucking hard as they are. And I feel you on that because I had a week too. So.
Yeah.
All
We
good.
should have talked about that.
No, God, I've talked about it so much already.
Okay, that's good. That's the important
All
thing.
good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys.
It was a
I
lot of
learned
fun.
lot.
Appreciate it.
Have a great weekend.
Love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.